Hey guys, we haven't a lot. We were planning a holiday break. Then I got sick. Then Taylor got sick, and Larry's still getting over something. So
Yeah.
if Larry
Yeah.
kind of sounds like he got hit by a bus, he did get hit by a bus.
No.
You didn't?
No.
No, it wasn't a bus. It was a virus of some kind.
A vi-bus? No, that doesn't
A
work.
virus of some kind, yes.
Yeah, I got hammered by 1.5 feet of snow this past weekend in Buffalo. Taylor just works at a terrible job. We've been going through some stuff.
Yeah, we love it. It's great. It's winter.
But I'm
I
happy
can't
to
remember the last time I saw that much snow here.
1.5 feet? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's been a long time.
No.
except for the
I don't think
whiteout
I've ever.
conditions. It's pretty
never
usual
have?
in Buffalo.
Not 1.5 feet.
Oh, we've had it.
We've had
We
it.
actually got kind of lucky. 1.5 feet for me. Other parts across town got 3.5, close to 4.
Mm.
So I actually got lucky. I got right in the middle. Some people got 5 inches. Some people got 4 feet. So I got 1.5 feet. So right in the middle. I got pretty lucky.
There you go.
And it was
There
fluffy
you go.
snow, so it was pretty easy to shovel.
Ooh.
Usually in Buffalo we get really wet, thick snow, but it was pretty easy.
Gross.
Yeah. It was,
So, do you want to build a snowman?
so I don't remember the last time I've seen all three of you, to be honest. I saw Taylor at Kings Island for New Year's Eve, but Larry couldn't make it out.
No, yeah.
I think it's been probably a month or two since we've face-to-face seen each other.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Whenever we last recorded.
Yeah.
That episode went out 50 days ago, so it's been close to 2 months, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Oof. All right. Well,
Yeah.
missed you guys.
The holidays just flew by.
They did.
They did.
Which is good because it's the off season, and hopefully the rest of the off season is gonna fly by.
This is the slower part of winter, I feel like.
For me, right now, it's flying by because I get married in 110 days.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of different for me, but I understand, that mid-January to early March lull of there's not really much news. Luckily, we have a lot of news here because we haven't talked in 2 months. But looking back at this news stretches from today all the way back to early December.
Right.
So it's been slow.
I just checked. It has been precisely 50 days. Our last episode went out on November 26th. So we would have recorded on the 25th.
It was right after Thanksgiving, wasn't it? We recorded that morning,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what's happened since then? Let's go. Let's start with Six Flags Over Georgia. It's been kind of a controversial. Whose dog is barking? Is that Larry's?
Mine.
Is that Poppy?
Yeah.
That's Kenobi. That's the big collie. Yeah.
That's the big collie.
Yeah. Well, the 2-year-old collie.
I don't know if I've seen pictures of this one.
Oh, I'll have to send you some.
Okay.
Send them in the chat.
I appreciate it.
So anyway, it's been kind of controversial this season with when parks are ceasing their daily operations in this year. I know Kings Island is doing it, mid-August? People are pretty upset about that.
About a week earlier than normal.
Yeah, and people were pissed about that. Six Flags Over Georgia announced that their daily operations end July 29th.
That's bad.
That's bad. That's really bad.
That sucks.
I think Darien Lake did something similar this past year. Maybe not. I think they started closing earlier in August, and then mid-August they stopped daily operations. But it was kind of a buzzkill because I used to work till 8, and so when they'd be open until 9, I would maybe go out there after work and ride a couple things. But then when they cut it to 7 o'clock, I'm like, I can't even go out there.
That's the other thing is the early part of the season. Even during daily operations, Kings Island is closing at 8.
Oh,
yeah.
And aren't they closing at 10 during their peak hours instead of
I believe
midnight?
So, yeah.
4th of July, maybe? One of those days.
Oh, yeah, it was 4th of July. They're not going to be open until midnight like they usually are, yeah.
And then
it's a Thursday, I get that one.
May, they're only open until 6.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, it's only
May? I thought it was April.
No,
Well,
it's
April and May.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
it's like European or like English hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about like May pre-Memorial Day, like their quote unquote spring season.
I'm checking right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Because I
Let's
know
see.
like 2 years ago it was 8, and then last year it was 7, and now it's
Yeah.
Yes.
6.
Yeah, they're moving in the wrong direction on that.
Well, next year it's going to be 5, and then 4, and then 3. And then they're going to be
And
like,
then
oh,
noon?
wait, we're not selling. No, because they're going to be like, oh, wait, we're not selling meal plans anymore because you can only get one meal a day in the park. Then they're going to push it back till midnight, and then it'll go 11. It's just going to keep. It's a cycle.
They'll figure it out eventually. It'll work out. I
Well,
hope.
hey, wait, hold on. Because
What? Did they
oh no,
change?
no, yeah, no, they didn't.
Oh.
It's like it starts out being open until 9, and then after that, for some reason, at towards the end of May, it starts closing at 6.
That's weird. Is
But
it
then it
just
goes
during
to
the
10.
day? Or
It's
like the
only
week?
for like a week. Yeah, they changed it.
Hmm,
Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah,
That's
good.
good.
I-
We're
it's
glad.
only from like the 20th until the 23rd, and then it goes back to 10.
Oh.
So
I
that's
wonder
nice.
why. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
me
yeah.
too.
interested.
Happy.
So we all agree that they like changed since their initial announcement, right?
The
Yes.
time?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
because so
Larry.
why did they not announce that? There was big
I
public
don't know.
uproar. You think you capitalized on that from a PR standpoint and be like, "Hey, we listened. We changed our hours."
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean, yeah, I
know.
don't know.
No, because, okay, the week before, the 15th and 16th, they still close at 6, but I'm thinking it's just like a weekday thing because so many kids are still in school. You're probably not getting as many
Yeah,
people those days.
take a look. May.
But on the 17th, they're open until 9, and I know for a fact that one's changed
Oh,
because.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, the 15th and 16th. Yeah. So it's the 15th and 16th. Then on
And then the
that
20th.
yeah, then the 20th through the 23rd. But
And then,
that's it.
yeah, all the Fridays are at 9, and I know that for a fact that changed because I was looking at it because of coaster stock, or the
Mm,
potential of coaster
We'll get
stock.
there later. Trust
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll
me.
get there later.
So, well, that's
Um,
good. It's not as bad as
Yeah, it's
it
good.
had
Happy.
initially looked. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, should we just go right to coaster stock? Skip through the notes a little bit and
No,
then come back. Okay.
no, let's go
So
straight through.
okay. So Knott's Camp Snoopy is getting a 6-acre expansion and reimagining. I think we kind of saw this coming back in season 1, episode 1 of this podcast. We did our predictions for 2024 for Cedar Fair, and I'm pretty sure either me or Larry kind of called this. The writing was on the wall.
No, when you say expansion, like where are they expanding to?
They're taking out their one kids coaster and replacing it with a Zamperla kids coaster. I know that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then
Rip,
I
huff, and
forget.
puff.
Huff and puff is what I do when I'm walking around parks because asthma. Um, but I don't know Knott's layout well enough to tell you like what they're actually getting rid of and expanding and such. I just know
Right.
that it's an expansion,
The
And
new
which
then
is
coaster is
they
interesting.
are
Snoopy's Tender
getting
Paw
a
Twister.
What, Larry?
they are getting a Vekoma family boomerang, aren't they?
No, they're getting a Zamperla family coaster, I believe.
Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it looks like it's a Zamperla. The
Yeah.
track looks right for it.
Um, but yeah, they are getting that. I think I'm not too researched on this to be honest, or I read an article about it, but like I said at the top of show, it's been so long, I
I'm
don't
looking
remember
at
all
it
the
right now.
details. Are they
Oh
getting
yeah,
Looking
no,
fat?
at it. Yeah.
I don't know why
It
I
has a
thought that. I thought they were getting but yeah, I'm looking at it. It's definitely not. Um
yeah. It has a pint-sized launch.
What does that mean?
oh,
Their
a
words, not
pint-sized
mine.
launch. That's cute.
So sweet.
So what? A
Sally's
30-mile an
swing
hour
along.
launch?
A what?
A 30-mile an hour launch?
They're
Like the
getting
Art
like
Engineering Family Coaster?
a
Probably.
tiny version of like a scream and swing.
That's
That's
cute.
funny.
I mean, it's not really a scream and swing, but that's what it reminds me of. But it's like a tiny one.
That's
I feel like
funny.
I just saw something on Twitter about there being like a Boots one at one of the Nickelodeon places that just opened.
A what?
They're
There's like
opening
a
one in
boots, like
China,
the
aren't they? Irrelevant. I'm not
irrelevant.
familiar with
Isn't
that.
somebody getting a family boomerang other than the ones we already knew about?
Um,
Not that I
I
know
thought
of.
somebody was getting a family boomerang. I don't know if I just made that
what
up in
is
my
that
head.
place called? I don't think it's a boomerang, but I think what is that place called? Um, whatever. I'll look into that later. Taylor. Speaking of
Wait,
expansions and reimaginings, a couple
yes.
episodes ago, you were talking about Chuck E. Cheese stages, and I know you want to update the people. So take your
Yes.
time
Okay.
and
So
go over that.
this was literally the last episode for one, but that was like a whole 2 months ago. And I was struggling to remember the Studio C stages, like different types. And so, in order, we have Studio C Alpha, the Beta 16, the Beta 32, and then we have the Kappa. And what I was struggling with was I couldn't remember the Greek letter for C. And
Oh,
instead of just Googling it, I just fumbled so hard. But if we want to talk about other stages, there's also the one stage, the road stage, the three stage. There's some weird spin-offs of the C stage that only have like one iteration. And I'm forgetting one. There's the it's the wall one, the gallery, the portrait stage. That's what it is. And then there's like one with like where they're sitting on a porch, and I cannot remember what that one's called.
I've never seen that one.
She'll update you on that one next episode.
Yeah, that next episode.
Larry Santa's Village was rumored to be getting a family boomerang. They're getting a junior coaster instead, also from Vekoma.
What's the one? Oh, that's right. Okay, the rumored one for we'll get there. We'll get there.
I
Okay,
don't know which one you're talking about.
I'm
Anyway.
talking about the BGW.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes, 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 yes.
yeah.
Speaking of family
Oh,
Vekoma boomerangs, though, yes, Taylor.
I was gonna say Knott's is also getting their off-road rally renewed or like a new one. I don't know.
Off-road rally. I'm not
There's a
even sure what
train.
that is.
I don't know what that is either.
It's a
Yeah.
little like it's like antique cars, but for kids.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
And their scream and swing only goes 10 feet high.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
For anybody
Um,
who wanted to know.
Speaking of family boomerangs, though, Good Gravy finished construction on December 12th. It's
Yeah.
complete.
Very
I
nice. Good
love
to hear.
that they had like no updates along the way. They were just like, hey guys, it's done.
Yeah.
Honestly, with a coaster that takes what 3 weeks to build,
Yeah.
like why bother? Like,
I mean, that's fair.
It's not like a Top Thrill 2 or something where it's like, you're not going to be doing weekly YouTube updates.
yeah, and it's not like everybody's like on board for Good Gravy in like an ironic way. Not that it's not going to be enjoyable or anything, but like there's definitely a humor to the enjoyment
It's
of
the
Good
name
Gravy.
and the
Yeah.
theming and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
exactly.
Like
It's like
Yeah.
a sentimental attachment almost. So it's
Mhm.
not like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, the layout of Good Gravy is fantastic." It's like
No, it non-ironically looks amazing.
there's
Someone said
probably
that. Someone's going to say that.
there's
I
probably
can't
someone out
wait to
there.
go buy the stuffing. Zip
What?
right on by it.
Oh, in the
They're gonna have a
restaurant?
box of stuffing. No,
Oh, what?
like on the ride, there's gonna be a box of stuffing for like part of the theming, and it's
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I thought you meant there was going to be like a stand out
that's
front
what
where you
I
could
kind of
buy a
thought
little
too.
box
Yeah,
of stuffing to eat before you ride
you
it.
know what?
but only
They need to
before.
add that
Yeah.
only before like actually in the queue. You have to be in the queue to buy the stuffing.
Ugh, ugh. The amount of
Mm,
children that would vomit on that ride.
You're right. Yeah, let's eat some stuffing and
delicious.
then go ride roller coasters.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It
Mm-hmm.
sounds
Um,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Let me see. Yeah, the other park getting a family boomerang this year, Kings Island.
Yes.
They broke ground. That whole
Yeah.
situation is weird, and we're gonna get into the core or marketing battle between the two parks in a little bit. But that was it's really interesting to me that, and obviously it's because Kings Island didn't close until 15 days ago. their season ended New Year's Day was like the first close day, whereas Holiday World's been closed for 2 months, so they've had time to demo the land and all that
Right.
stuff. But it's so weird seeing one is totally complete and the other is just a plot of land with some concrete poured into
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like a bit of a trend
With
I'm
Cedar
noticing.
Fair.
Yeah. With I
Yeah,
mean, Topville too, notwithstanding, they got that done quick.
that I
But
think that's a little different because
yeah.
obviously that was a retrofit. That wasn't a
Yeah, it was still
complete
a big
ground up.
job though, right? I mean,
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
is it just me or were they testing that really early?
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got that.
But staying in Cincinnati temporarily, Coney Island, dead, gone,
Dead, gone.
Goodbye.
forgotten,
Goodbye, Coney
lost.
Island.
New Year's Eve.
This is like the 5th time it's died. So
Yeah.
not that I don't
I
believe that it's dead. It's been like steadily it's been steadily dying. But it's gone.
since 1972
Yeah.
or
I mean, Kings
1971.
Island was meant to be the replacement for it.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Um,
I was only partially aware of its existence still. Like I knew it was a thing, if that makes
yeah.
sense, as an entity, but it wasn't relevant in my brain. It didn't occupy space. So when
The
See,
people
I,
are
only
I thought same. I thought they had closed it already because they announced something to that effect like 2 years ago. So I thought it was gone already. And then when they were like, "Oh, it's closing for real," I'm like, "Oh, I thought it already did."
the only time I remember it exists is when somebody's in the pass holders page and is like, "We went to Coney Island for the pool," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I think that was all that was open though. I think was just the
was it
water
like
park.
a Geauga Lake situation where like the dry park closed a while ago and they were
Yes.
kept in okay.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
makes sense then.
that's
But yeah, I
to my
mean, it was
assumption.
like Kings Island is Coney Island. Like
Yeah,
they're the ones
yeah.
who bought it,
Yeah,
and so it was meant. It lasted way longer than I think. I mean, that book that you could have. Do you have a copy of that? Goodbye, Coney Island. Goodbye, Taylor.
I do. I just don't have it with me, but I do have
I've
it.
got it. I should have brought it in, but yeah, it's. They thought it was done then, so
I mean, because
It
it was supposed to be
it
done.
was supposed to be. They sold it. They didn't really care what the people did with it, but
it kind of reminds me of there's a light bulb in a firehouse in like California that has been burning or been lit since 1905, and like these people the people at the fire hall like take care of this light bulb and stuff, and one day it's just going to go out and
why
nobody's
is
going
it
to
in?
know.
Why? What is it
Why
made
is
out
it?
of?
I don't know, but that's the thing is like it was not built to last 120 years. It
Huh?
had like but it's still going. It's going to go
It's
out one of these
Weird.
days.
It's a
so
good
Uh,
weird.
light bulb. That's a real good light bulb.
I don't know if I believe it's been continuously on,
Yeah,
power
I don't either.
outages,
Yeah,
maintenance, you got to replace the cords. But like it's been pretty much continually on for 120 years.
right. Crazy.
I mean, if it's actually been on for 120 years, I'm kind of scared of it more than anything. Because that's not.
That's a powerful light bulb.
It's a demon
Yeah.
bulb.
Okay,
Demon
Larry, I'm going to
bulb.
let you pick. Do you want to talk more about Kings Island or do you want to hop off Kings Island for a bit and then come
Let's
back to
let's. I always want to talk about Kings Island. Let's Kings Island it
We
up.
do. We love Kings Island.
Okay, big news this week. Coaster stock will not be returning
That's really sad.
this year.
This year,
This
Just want
year.
to preface that. It
still a
will be
bummer.
back next year.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense. Obviously, the former person who ran this event and the person whose event this was a brainchild of no longer works for Cedar Fair.
yeah.
And
But they could still.
Yeah.
I mean, they know how to run it, right?
oh, I know. That's why I think
Yeah,
it
but
makes sense to take a year off. Let Elizabeth to get.
Yeah,
She just started officially what like 2 months ago, a month ago.
not even. Not even. She
is
started December 4th.
Okay,
is it
so
So
because of this Ace event, or is it
it's
just, or is
yes.
it for the reason that you're saying to like give them time to plan it another one?
It might be a mixture of both, but I think the Ace event is the main thing. Just
It could
because I
be
don't
kind of,
know.
if that is going to be her responsibility, I could see that being kind of overwhelming in your first full season to be like, oh yeah, also you're going to run this event.
Yeah. And
So
like Chad's
who
never
knows?
run it before either, so like
Yeah,
give them both some
it just
time to
seems like
readjust
something
and figure
that
it out.
they, yeah, who knows? I just hope they don't ruin it the way that,
No.
and I don't mean Elizabeth, but like Kings Island. Like I hope that, or Cedar Fair, Six Flags. I hope they don't try to turn this into like a Coaster Mania situation.
Coaster Mania was a lot better this year. I'm
I
not going to
I
say it was
know,
as good as
I know,
Coaster Stock, but it was a lot better this year.
I know, but still, keep it real.
But as Larry said, there's going to be an Ace event. It's a spring conference that weekend. It's I don't know. I wish I had data on how many people that went to Coaster Stock were Ace members already versus because there's only like 6 clubs that are allowed in.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah,
Coaster
Well,
and
Crew Ace, Ohio Coaster Club, um, and
a
like
lot of
a few
Ohio Coaster
others.
Club people go, but I'd
Oh,
be
okay.
willing to bet money that the majority are Ace. Because
I
I
would
mean,
bet.
that's the one I joined. I joined to go there, to go to
Mm,
Coaster Stock. And I think a lot of people do. They're just like, I don't know. I know what that one is. I'll just sign up for that
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, with
yeah.
how massive Ace is and bigger
Yeah.
corporations grow bigger, that kind of
Ohio
stuff.
Coaster Club is cheaper, I think.
Yes, Coaster
It is.
Crew.
It's like
Excuse me.
$30 for a family membership to Great Ohio
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coaster Club.
Coaster Crew is like 30-35 for 2 people.
Yeah.
Which me and Larry are both members of Coaster Crew. I personally recommend it. Taylor is not yet. I know she wants to.
I want
Um,
to.
Mini little news thing that's not on the
Um,
list is what?
I just wanted to
What?
add that just because there's an ACE event that weekend, the park has also said that they're going to make sure that there is events for all the other coaster clubs they work with to
Oh,
do
cool,
the same kind of stuff. To
cool.
So
like
it's still going to be a cool weekend then,
yeah,
right?
not that weekend for all the other clubs, but
Oh,
like
okay.
just
I got you.
throughout the season. Like
I
ACE
Okay.
is taking priority and
I'm gonna
then
say something controversial.
Hmm.
I would almost prefer individual coaster clubs having their own individual events over a mass event because whenever Coaster Crew has an event, it's like 30 to 100 people.
Yeah. I think I could agree with that. And also it's a little easier. People get like multiple opportunities to do things.
Yeah, like when we had
right.
Yeah.
Pantheon ERT, we the only reason we got off the train was we could all kind of like switch swap seats. Like
Yeah.
it was 50 people at that event, not all of them
Right.
stayed. So by the time we got Pantheon ERT, it was literally it's like 20 people per train. And we were
Right.
like, "Hey, you want to switch seats? Like let's switch seats." Like we
Yeah.
didn't have
It
to
was
it was
amazing.
great.
It was
It was
great
amazing.
ERT. ERT is good when you quit riding before the ERT is over. When you're
Yeah, it
like, yep,
was
I got enough rides. That's good ERT.
literally like
Yeah.
we got off. I looked at Larry and I'm like, you want to go? He's like, yeah, we had like 9 laps at that point.
Yeah. It
We're
was
just like,
so
yeah,
fun.
let's go. It was great.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
then
Um,
you also don't have the fight for a spot like you do for coaster stock where it sells
Yeah.
out in less than a
Yeah.
minute and then
yeah. And I've been to 2 Coaster Crew events. One was for Wildcats Revenge right after it opened. It was like June and it opened. We were the first coaster, like the first ERT was the Coaster Crew event. And I bought tickets like 2 or 3 weeks before the event. It was allotted up to 150 people. I think only 130 bought tickets. It was great. We got a wonderful
yeah.
catered meal. We got questions with like the engineers at Hershey. It was basically everything you would get in a coaster stock. There was a scavenger hunt, except it was just a lot less people. And nothing against coaster stock. I want to go one day. Don't get me
Coaster
wrong.
Stock's
No, it's
great.
a great
But
event. Yeah.
yeah,
But
no, I think now I have limited experience with it. I've only been to that one, but I think I agree with you though
and
on
something
those.
else
Yeah.
about a coaster crew event I like versus structured events is when I'm at. My main experience with coaster events is Coaster Mania. Is when I have a rigid schedule like that, I kind of feel like I have to go to everything. I can't rest. Whereas with a
Yeah.
coaster crew event, it's usually like we have a meetup at this time. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
Lunch, like dinner, is from like 5 to 7. Show up. Like there's a thing you can go, and then it's basically like okay, ERT after park closes, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Everybody, like at the last one we went to at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, like Brandon Lamps and Coasters and Austin Amusement Insider left the park to go to a brewery, came back for lunch. Me and Kyla went back to take a nap. It's just like looser, and we still got to ride
Yeah.
everything that day multiple times. Yeah. Anyways, that was a long tangent. But speaking of BGW, oh no, we're still on Kings Island.
No,
Um,
that was just the first bit of Kings Island news.
I forgot we have like 6 bullet points for Kings Island here. But the rest of them are kind of all just one big thing.
Yeah.
Camp Snoopy, we're getting blog posts. We could start seeing vertical activity this week, possibly. I wouldn't put money on that, but it's possible.
It was from their head engineer that said it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I
That's
thought
yeah,
they didn't
in the
do.
blog
That's
post.
interesting because I thought they didn't do a lot of construction during this particular period.
I was about to ask, how's the weather down there? Because I know
It's
a lot of the
freezing
country is
right
getting
now.
slammed right now.
It's
Then again,
cold,
pouring
but there's not
concrete
ice.
during cold weather is better because it freezes up a lot quicker.
But working with steel is probably not better, right?
That's true because it'll contract.
But they wouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, so right now in my area, it's 9 degrees.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yes,
about
Yeah,
it's
17 here with a real feel of like 1.
yeah.
it's
But I'm in
really
Buffalo,
cold
obviously.
at Kings Island this week, but the week after we're seeing the 40s and 50s again.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
nice.
wondering
Yeah,
if they're gonna
So
kind of take this week off or like pour all the concrete this week and then go vertical next week. I could see that totally happening.
sure. I mean, it doesn't take, like
yeah,
you said, it doesn't take that long to build one of these, right?
Yeah, I mean, our Good Gravy went up in like a month. The Skyline family coasters, which are, I know they're not the same, but it's a similar vein, went up in like 17 days or something. So like, Taylor, what was that?
I started to drop my mic. I've been holding it.
Oh, we need to get you a stand. You literally went like
No, I
just pretty
started
funny.
to drop it. I didn't want
um,
to have a big crash on the. I want to be
Audio
nice.
listeners, a reminder: if you want to see our beautiful faces while we do this, head over to youtube.com/@quaddownpod, and you can watch us in video form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking, here's some things from that blog post that we just mentioned. Snoopy Soapbox Racers is going to be opening in quote late spring. I feel like that leaves a lot for interpretation.
I think
Um,
it means what? I think it means it won't be open with the park.
Yeah,
what do
I
you
just
think,
think that was
Taylor?
the nice way of saying.
Yeah,
I think it was the
yeah,
nice way of saying it.
yeah.
I kind of disagree. I don't think it's. I don't take any. You good?
Me? Yeah, I'm good.
I
Yeah,
don't really put any stock in the marketing of like when things are going to open. They're calling Top Thrill 2 a summer ride. And that's obviously opening the first week of May, like with the
right.
park. I know Kings Island
When
is
does
usually a little
Holiday World
more.
open?
That's a good question. Larry, look that up real quick.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
I know what you're getting at, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I don't really put too much stake in late May, early summer, like all those kind of things. Like with Wildcats Revenge last year, they were saying like summer, and some people were like, "Oh well, if it's not going to open early June or Memorial Day weekend because that's not summer," and it's like, yeah, but the park considers it their summer
That's
season.
Yeah. I don't
Summer
know.
doesn't start
I
till
still
like what?
Holiday
when I see late
opens.
spring, because late
Yep,
spring could be June
late
technically.
spring. Yes,
Holiday
late spring could be June 19th.
Yeah.
Yes, Taylor.
Holiday World opens May 4th.
Oh yeah, I meant
So
to say
late
that. Yeah, it
spring
opens
could
on your
literally
birthday.
Okay.
be May 5th.
Yeah.
It could also be May 3rd. I mean,
But
there's
yeah, but I mean, May 5th is not late spring, is it? That
well,
late spring.
To me,
when's
you
the
can
park
say
opening
late
day?
spring all the way up. Opening day is April 20th. So
I
you
would
could say
argue April
late spring
20th.
all the way up until Memorial Day.
No, I see what you're saying, Josh. I just think that I think that when they say late, they mean like, guys, might
I
not be
think
open.
I think you do that to hedge your bets Um,
Yes, in case there's a problem
yes,
or something. Yeah.
exactly. It's not necessarily you say late spring, so you don't have to push to early summer. Whereas if you open
Right.
in early spring, oh, we did it ahead of time. Look at us.
Yes, I can absolutely see that being the case as well. So
Yeah. So take that how you will, listeners. Late spring might be early spring. Well, no, it won't be early spring. I consider early spring like March, and obviously we're
right.
not open in March. So,
Yeah.
speaking of though, and why we brought up Holiday World is Good Gravy is being advertised as the first family Vekoma boomerang in North America. But
So that is why
if
I push.
yeah, so if I don't know. That comes down to a question of did Holiday World know Kings Island was going to be doing this when they announced Good Gravy?
I mean, I
Possibly
feel like
not.
Vekoma might have to tell them that if they're going to market it that way. But I don't know. I don't work it for them.
I don't know. I know the reason that Canada's Wonderland couldn't get a B&M invert is because Cedar Point had a non-competitors agreement with After Raptor. So there's a lot of like hitting contracts. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if there's a lot of NDAs involved
I
in this
feel
kind
like
of
people
stuff.
aren't signing contracts like that anymore.
The No, I don't think there's a non-competitors agreement. I
Right.
could see an
Yeah.
NDA of don't tell another park we're opening this.
I don't think Holiday World cares. Like if they,
But
if
what
they know
I'm
they're the first one to
saying,
buy it, they're gonna say they're the
yeah, that's what
yeah
I'm saying is they
yeah
announced it first.
yeah.
And I
So
could totally see it being we're the first, and you
yeah
announce it first, but you don't end up getting it open because for all we know, Holiday World gets struck by lightning and Good Gravy needs to be rebuilt. Like until it's
yeah
open, you're not first.
right
So you market it as first just to say you're first.
right. It doesn't actually matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
They were
Um,
finished being built first.
yeah,
That's
they
true. I
technically
mean,
are the first, I guess.
found it.
Yeah.
What do you constitute as first? Opening first, first test cycle, being built
Yeah,
first, like announced first. That's a lot of like when parks advertise their coaster as like the tallest dive coaster in the world made completely out of steel without sand in the track. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's one of those things where parks will literally come up with any record they could possibly think of.
The world's tallest, fastest, longest
Welcome to
Kings
Cedar
Island
Point,
steel
the park with
coaster.
the most benches in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
It is what it is. But
That's what it-
foundations are poured at least for Snoopy's soapbox racers. So
What is Pigpen's Mess Hall? So we're getting another another
It's
restaurant.
your favorite, Larry.
So I want to
But
see that. Do they have concept art for that?
they don't. However, I
Okay.
do want you to note that they got rid of a restaurant to build soapbox racers.
Which
So
one?
therefore, it's like the weird snack one that's over by the theater. Like they had to make
Oh,
room
that's
for
like
Beagle
yeah,
Scout Acres.
the
Yeah.
pointless thing. Yeah,
So now we will have hopefully a better one to take its place.
I have
yeah.
a thought about this. Having just heard this name for the first time an hour ago before we started recording. Mess hall kind of makes me think of like a cafeteria with like
Right.
bench seating, which is
Yeah.
very
Like at a camp,
fest
like at
house
a summer camp.
territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very fest house territory. Does that feel redundant to anyone else?
No, it feels
No,
like baby
no.
Fest House. We
I
got to
feel like
work them up
yeah.
to real Fest
I
House.
think it's a good idea. Good idea.
I
Place for
think
the
it's gonna
parents to
be
sit down.
yeah, it'll probably be high
Yeah.
capacity dining. As
Yeah.
Tony Clark told me when I interviewed him for Boardwalk last year. Cedar Fair is really hammering on high capacity dining, which is good.
Yeah, because
But
people
Um,
they
were
don't
waiting in
have
like
that in
hour-long
Snoopy.
lines at Cedar Point for
yes,
food.
yes. Which that's
How do
why
you
when what
Huh?
Taylor?
how do you have a kids area where there's infants and toddlers and not have an indoor seating area?
Right.
I'm wondering.
Yeah. And
Um,
grandmas and
yeah,
grandpas and stuff.
Grandmas,
That's a lot of
yes.
what
people
We need
what
some
I
air
are in
was
for
that area
them.
of the park. Yeah.
I'm wondering if so for anybody that has been to the Grand Pavilion, they have relatively nice bathrooms in there for a Cedar Fair park. I'm wondering if this new restaurant is going to have like family restrooms with diaper changing tables, or like some like a
That would be a
nursing
good
mother
place to do it.
area
That'd be
or
good.
something like
That'd be a
that.
good place to do it.
And
Isn't
if
what
they
that
have a
one
men's
building
restroom,
on the way to um the kids area? Isn't that doesn't that have like nursing rooms and stuff?
Which
yes, that's
building?
Fisher Homes,
Fisher Homes,
across from
yeah.
Boo
Ah,
Blasters. That's like the nursing station. There's family bathrooms in there, but it would be
uh,
nice if they just had one back in that
yeah.
area.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if you move it back there and then you free up a building in a quote prime realist, like more prime,
Yeah.
off the less off the beaten path, I'll say, area of the park.
Yeah. I think that
Um,
area is a very good place for something like that. For sure.
I'm
Yeah.
very interested in what kind of food Pigpen's mess hall is going to
It
have.
should be plays on summer camp food. That's what it should be.
What
Yes.
do you consider summer camp food? Because when I think summer camp food, I think kind of like Farmhouse at Cedar Point, but Farmhouse and Coney Island kind of have a little bit of crossover.
I think you got to get creative with it because summer camp food really is like cheap stuff, like
Yeah,
spaghetti
that's
Right.
and things
And
like
we
fair.
that.
have
That's
to keep
fair.
in mind it's kids. Like
So
kids
s'mores
want
themed
to.
things, or
Yeah.
I don't know, something I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm
I
not a
am
chef.
I am ready to pay $18 for a s'more themed milkshake.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I'm down for this one.
Yeah. I love the
Um,
name.
Big
I
Pens mess off. Yeah,
I'm optimistic about this. I usually don't get super excited for new restaurants like at parks. Like I'm obviously going to try them. I have a meal plan. I have no reason to not try almost every restaurant at a park. But like I'm excited to see what they do with this because
yeah.
Kings Island, they have either really good food, like Brew House is good, and then they have like really trash food. Like Fest House desperately needs new food. Um
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the Panda Express, please.
get
For
rid of
one
Please.
thing.
Panda chain wide, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Same.
Laurel put on Twitter today, like maybe it's just me, but when I'm standing in Millie's line on a hot summer day, I don't want to be smelling Panda
No.
Uh,
Express.
When
wasn't
I'm
didn't was isn't
zooming
that
by
where
it, I
Chris
don't want
was
to smell
like,
it.
I love smelling Panda
Yeah,
Express in the
yeah.
Millennium Force line. Uh,
It makes me
no,
hungry, but like I never want Panda. You know what I mean?
no, no.
Not at a
Uh,
theme park.
not anywhere.
Nah, yeah.
Not anywhere. I don't ever want
There's
panda.
With
there is
with
good Chinese food out
I was
there.
gonna say
Can
with
we just
fast food prices rising, I can get real, well, quote unquote, real Chinese food,
American Chinese
yeah,
food.
real
Yeah,
American Chinese food for a similar price to a trip to Panda. Like,
right.
if not less?
Yeah,
well, yeah, yeah, it depends
where
what you
it's
get.
actually good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Um, the biggest thing for me that I want to talk about really about this edition for Kings Island is the painting and retheming of surrounding
Yeah.
rides.
Yeah. I'm really happy to see that that's actually a thing because when they announced soapbox racers, most people the reaction was, no, that's just for the concept art. They're not actually going to
Well,
do that.
see, that's which ride specifically are you talking
Oh,
about?
oh yeah, the one you're thinking of because they
I've
just
heard that
painted it.
was just for the concept art.
Okay,
We're
so
talking
they're
about Flying
not
Ace Aerial
repainting.
Chase.
Yeah, they're
That's what
not
I've
repainting.
Yeah.
heard.
It's going to look really weird. So I see here they say uh most will be repainted to fit with the newly themed area.
Yes, it does not say all.
Well, if they don't, I would understand it.
I agree. I
But
think it'll
I think
stick
it
out
will
like
be
a sore
good.
thumb,
Yeah.
though.
Just I mean, because the colors they went with, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I understand if they don't repaint it because they just repainted it 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
it's so weird to
But
think about that being 2 years ago. Because in my head, like, it's kind of like school seasons where like
Yeah.
it's not next season yet, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like for
And
the
so in
50th season, it was repainted.
yes, which in my head was last season still, because even though we're in the off season, like next season doesn't
We
start until
Yeah.
April, May
until
Yeah. I
this
April.
guess
year.
my money is still on them not doing it, but
Yeah.
It'd
I
be
feel like
cool. Be
everything
a whole
else on
lot cooler
here.
if they did.
Okay.
If
So
anybody's
either
listening that
flying.
can make that decision.
So the other rides that are on the list are Linus Launchers, Woodstock Gliders, and Race for Your Life. And Woodstock Gliders has concept art for it that were more basket like. So the
Okay.
only other one I could see them not doing is Race for Your Life because it's already pretty campy. So maybe they will
Yeah.
do Flying Ace because
What
that
is
concept
the
art looked nice.
what is that ride
Oh yeah, they
called?
don't have to. They don't need to do anything with Race for Your Life, right?
Larry,
No.
the log flume that we got drenched on. What is that called?
That's the one. Race for Your Life, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
who
don't
that is
need.
does
pretty
ride Race for
campy.
Your Life?
Huh?
Um
Is it called
you
Race for Your Life? I thought it is.
is that the
It's
log flume, Taylor?
The log flume across from Diamondback?
uh,
Yes.
oh, because
Yes,
it's a
We
that's Race for Your
movie.
rode
Life.
that I want to say it was the day that we all met at Kings Island.
Oh, like
Like
after Dawson
the
and I left?
yeah, and then Larry was going to
Okay.
stay for night rides on Beast and actually got sick. And you still got out of the park like 10 minutes before us because
Yeah,
traffic.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Sad.
That yeah, man. Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown is a good looking ride.
It
Yeah.
got me shockingly wet.
Yeah, I
You
I
can either
still
ride it and get no wet or very wet.
yeah.
Well, me and Larry and Kylo were there, and me and Larry are not small people.
No, and so we all got in the same one, and so it
Yeah.
was.
So we had a lot of weight pushing us down that hill.
Yep. I still didn't. I didn't get that wet though.
Yeah, me and
um,
Kyla got
the
drenched
Snoopy
though.
always gets me though. The Snoopy always gets me
Oh
every
yeah.
time.
Um last thing for Kings Island before we go back and cover some of the other news for other parks is that this is actually more Cedar Fair news, not just Kings Island. They are rolling out the new app that Carowinds got last year across the chain. I know I've got notifications for Canada's Wonderland, Cedar Point, and Kings Island apps have all told me to change my password because you have to change your password before
Have
signing
you
in.
messed around with the new Carowinds app at all?
Very little,
Yeah.
very little. I've heard
We
some good things about it. I've heard some bad things about it. I think it's one of those personal preference things, to be
I
honest with you.
think if they don't address the fact that ride wait times are inaccurate,
As
then
far
what
as
is
I
the point?
know, they just rolled out a new system this past, like the back half of this year, that is supposed to remedy that.
That's good.
Supposed to remedy that. I also think it's funny that they had to have invested a ton of money into this app, and within approximately a year they're going to have to invest money to roll out a new app for Six Flags because
Yeah.
obviously they're going to have to rebuild that relatively from the ground up around whatever fast pass system they go with, mobile food
Oh,
ordering, all that
jeez.
kind of stuff. Yeah, so they just invested all this money to build a new framework for their app that they might have to just scrap within a year.
I hope they just use the Cedar Fair fast
i
pass
uh
system. Honestly,
I think that Six Flags has a better concept, but the implementation just isn't there.
yeah. I mean, isn't it like virtual or virtual queue?
Yeah, it's like a virtual queue, and then it tells you like you can get in line now, and then like you go to the merge point at that point.
Yeah.
Um, or some of them aren't merge points; some of them are just into the station, which I like because then let's let's say I'm at Great Adventure. If anybody who's been there, King Dakar and El Toro are very close together. King Dakar often has a relatively shortish line. Um,
Really?
Eh, well, to be fair, Great Adventures attendance has been in the garbage the last
I'm
2 years.
really surprised to hear that.
Post COVID, they never really came back, is
That's
what
too
I've
bad.
heard. Every time I've been there, I was there in the middle of July when it was like 90 degrees and it was empty.
That's
Everything was walk
crazy.
on.
That's crazy.
And it
I
was a Friday
never would have
evening too.
imagined that.
Friday
Yeah.
evening, middle of summer, hot day.
I
Walk
I
on
would have
everything.
it. I've never been there, so I would have guessed it would be like Cedar Point, like just jam packed all the time.
You'd think, but I
Yeah,
mean, they're expanding now with their glamping area and their resort thing. So
glamping.
that's what they're marketing it as.
No, yeah,
It's upscale camping.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah. So new app, yay!
good stuff.
Let's
Hmm.
speed up the news a little bit here because we still got some more stuff to talk about, and we're deep into this podcast already. Sticking in the Cedar Fair chain, Iron Menace was topped off on the 15th of December, and the Immelman is complete. That
Good
ride is
stuff.
coming along swimmingly. Looks like a really nice drop, in my opinion. I have not ridden Dr. Diabolicals, but looks nice to me. Um, Top Thrill 2 was also completed in December. It's been testing. It cleared the top hat. It looks good. They have a pseudo POV where it kind of goes back and forth between the animation and the first test run. It looks great. Like the
It
view
does.
backwards from the spike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just looks great.
Yep, that ride's going to be awesome.
I
Mm,
genuinely wonder, not to go on too long of a tangent, because like I said, we're really deep and still covering news, but I really wonder, this community has a big chip on his shoulder about that ride, and usually when there's chips on shoulders about rides, people will begrudgingly like them but still vocally hate them. I
Yeah,
really wonder
yeah.
if post, let's say June, July, when reliability is figured out for this ride, people have gotten a chance to ride it, all that stuff. Assuming it goes well, I wonder if people are going to be able to admit, like, okay, this was a good choice. I'm glad they did this. Or if it's always just going to be, oh, it's not Dragster. It's not the same. I miss old
yeah.
Dragster.
It's okay. I think it's fine for people to be sad about that. I mean, there is something sad about that, but at the same time, it's like coexists. It, despite what everybody says, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that they're remarkably similar rides.
It's
Um,
good. Like, the
yeah,
acceleration's not going to be the same. But in my
yeah,
opinion, based on I've ridden Stormrunner, Ka, Pantheon, and Icebreaker. So like two solid swing launches and two solid hydraulic launches.
yeah,
And a backwards spike definitely has its own merit compared to
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
Oh,
punchy launch.
totally agreed. Totally agree. And accelerator's my favorite accelerator model. So with that being left alone, I'm totally cool with this. Besides the fact that I think Top Thrill 2 just looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are also like, "Oh, that's not going to go all the way up the backwards spike."
Oh
And
yeah, okay.
I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm like, but the test footage looks like it's going pretty high,
High
and I
enough.
don't,
Pretty high.
yeah,
High
and
enough.
I don't
Yeah.
think that was even going full speed like quite
Uh
yet. I
No,
think that
definitely
was,
wasn't. Yeah.
no. As far as
yeah,
I'm
so
aware it wasn't. And it was cold.
Yeah.
Very cold
yeah,
that day.
so like on a 90-degree day, I would be not surprised if the back of that train hits a solid 375 feet. People are like, oh, it's only gonna get up to like 300. I'm like, oh, so a 90-degree version of Millie's drop? Cool.
Right.
Like,
Right. Only 300.
exactly.
I've still
Only at
seen
Cedar
people say
Point.
it's only
Yeah.
going 100 feet. And I'm like, that footage was
It's
definitely
definitely
over
won't only
100 feet.
go.
Yeah.
It definitely won't only go 100 feet. They would have built it at like 150 feet if that was the case.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
And it's only at Cedar Point is a 300-foot 90-degree drop not that good. Like, that's
I
insane.
understand people who really love Dragster being sad about it. I do, but it is what it is. They managed to save the ride, and they at least did something cool with it. Where to me, I'm like, okay, well, you're going to get a longer ride out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Pantheon made me pretty excited for something going backward, like launching backwards like that.
I
Um,
I agree with that. When we rode Pantheon, I saved my back row ride until the end. And even the difference between the front of that train and the back of that train was huge. And we're talking about a spike that's twice as tall.
yeah,
And like looking down at the ground from the back row of Pantheon was genuinely like, I don't get
yeah.
scared on rides. And I was like, oh,
It's gonna
like,
be it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be fun. I think people just need to just relax. It'll be all
it
right.
definitely. Speaking of Top Thrill 2 and when people are going to come around on it, they're doing 3 days of pass holder preview.
I know. It's
That's
pretty cool.
crazy. There's
Yeah.
a lot of speculation about if it's going to be like you only get one time slot and you have to show up that day, and if the keychains
Like
from
Steel
Coaster
Vengeance.
Mania, yeah, or if the keychains from Coaster Mania are going to be like unlimited passes. Um, which I think there's problems with that idea, but I'm not going to get into that now. We can talk about that another day. But yeah. So 3 days of pass holder preview from April 30th to May 2nd. That's the week before my wedding, and my fiance's family is going to be in town from Vancouver. So I really hope I can slide over there one day, and get it. It's a day trip, 4 hours each direction. We'll see though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Larry, your birthday is one of those days, so it'd be
Yeah,
cool
May
for
2nd.
you.
Yeah.
And Taylor, I think you said the 30th would be more ideal for you.
The 30th would be ideal because it's a Tuesday, and then
Yeah.
I
If I
already
get
have to
there, it'll
take
probably
off.
be the 30th as well.
Yeah.
Taylor, what is this? Taylor sale info, or excuse me, ticket sale info unknown. Never mind. Tony said 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you're
Winter
getting
chill
ahead of
out
us.
tickets.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
skipped one. Winter
My
chill out
bad.
tickets. We should know information within about 2 weeks, which is weird because last year they
Can
went on sale January 9th. But
can
whatever.
we
It is what it
talk
is.
about how the tickets are info is going to be in 2 weeks, and the event is on February 24th.
24th. Yeah.
So
Oh
there's
I'm
man.
not
literally like
surprised
3 weeks
though.
in between.
Cedar Point is infamous for their boardwalk media event. It was like 2 days before. They weren't telling people if they even got invited until like a day before.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a mess. Same thing with their like Hollow Weekends influencer event. Like, I'm not really surprised, especially when, as terrible as this is going to sound, Winter Chill Out is not an event that particularly profits for Cedar Point. It's a
Right.
charity event. It's gonna sell out no matter what. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
whatever. Um, Speaking of ticketed events, though, there is a solar eclipse passing over Sandusky on April 8th of this year. They're going to be doing a ticketed event to get into the park, and the boardwalk is going to be open with limited rides. Watch the eclipse at Cedar Point.
Are you gonna
Again,
do that?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was just like somebody was like, "Oh, they're gonna make money off this," or which they can. They're a
Which
business,
is
whatever.
so funny to me when people, oh, theme parks are just out to make money. Yes, yes, they
Yes,
are.
it's
That is the
literally their
entire
job.
point. But yeah. So it's just going to be the boardwalk. I get a total. It's Sandusky is like the solar eclipse. If you don't know how it works, for my video people, again, if you're on audio, maybe go check out our YouTube channel. So solar eclipses have like a path of total coverage, and the closer you are to the center, the more total coverage you get. And as you get to the edge, it's kind of a fringe, and then outside you don't get total coverage. Sandusky is right at the outer border, and Buffalo is dead center. So unless it's forecasted to be cloudy, I'm just gonna watch this from Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's valid.
I was gonna say this looks. It sounds cool, but also just sounds like the kind of thing I usually tend to avoid, just because
It sounds
crowds.
like it's something that people that want to go stare at Top Thrill 2 are going to go to. Cool
Yeah, it
event.
does.
That's what Winter Chill Out is for.
Yeah,
They'll go to both.
That's
they
As if
true.
that
will.
does anything for them.
They will.
I'm wondering if either of these are going to be on a lottery system, especially with Winter Chill Out only being a 1 day event this year.
It was lottery last year being a 2-day event. I assume it'll be a lottery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which people, of course, are going to complain about
What? I
because
Oh
mean,
there's
well.
some strange entitlement that you have to be allowed to go to Winter Chill Out if you've been there
It's a
before.
charity event. Get over it. Let them
no,
donate their
it's
money.
no. I'm calling BS on this one. It's not a lottery. They're full of crap. Like I think it is a lottery for most people.
Oh, I see. But yes, but certain people are guaranteed.
Yeah, like that. What's Rob Fravor does not just randomly get selected to go to every lottery event.
Yeah,
Rob knows a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
if he's not getting
I
picked, one of his friends is getting picked.
we'll figure that out
Yeah.
after this is announced. I'm sure we'll have an episode discussing that, but
I'm
that's
definitely
for
trying to
another
go
time.
though.
Kyla's wedding dress fitting is that day, so she will
Aw.
not be able to make it. If I'm able to make it remains to be seen, but I'm gonna try to
Larry,
get a ticket for me.
Huh?
how do you feel about Winter Chill Out? Do you want to go?
Me? Do I want to go? Kind of. I mean, I don't know. I really, it sounds kind of miserable being at Cedar Point or being in Sandusky. in February.
Fair. But
It's
let's think
But
about
interesting.
how
I'll
the
tell you
Ohio
that.
weather has been this winter so far. It's literally going to be 50 degrees next week
yeah,
after
yes,
being 16
I
this week.
do, I do want to go because I want to experience it at least once.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I haven't been.
it can
So
be fun.
I think this year is a heck of a year to go, obviously, for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. One more park to talk about super quickly before we actually two more. Taylor didn't put one on our document.
What did I, hey, you know what? I build this document for you guys every week, and
I knew
I'm
this was
always
going to
scared if
happen.
something's
So does
I
missing.
knew
I.
this was
So
going to
does I.
happen.
Um, these actually go hand in hand, so it's fine. Two Virginia parks have had plans leaked. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is allegedly getting a B&M family invert a la Phoenix Rising over at BGT, and King's Dominion is allegedly finally getting their volcano replacement with a launched wing coaster.
How did these, when these leaks happened, do you have any idea how they got the documents?
Um, it No, I know
Okay.
that it's people that it is leaked by people that always find documents.
Yes. Yeah.
They're reliable. I'm not
Yes.
going to call them out by name,
No, I'm just
but
saying that, well, it's KD fans did one of them, right?
yeah, and I think okay, the other one was parkfans.net. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
No,
don't
they
know
are
how
very
they always
reliable.
yes,
Park
but
fans
I
just leaked something else today, and I forget
Yeah.
where it's at.
oh did they? I
Yeah.
will
Yeah,
pull
I
that up
didn't put it
really
in because it
quickly.
was like I don't care.
From what I've noticed, generally speaking, not always, but generally
Legoland,
speaking,
California.
once these documents get leaked, it's usually real. Um,
Yeah, I know
there is the Knots Giga to consider.
there's
That wasn't real,
also
but
um the Dorney spiked shuttle coaster, the wooden one. We
right.
got confirmation that was actually real from Ryan. So a lot of these plans, take it with a grain of salt, but
Mhm.
if you can put money on it, put money on
Yeah.
it. That's basically how I feel about
I
that.
think Busch Gardens Williamsburg is getting a family invert. Yeah.
I would agree. The two Busch Gardens parks love to mirror each other,
I
except
think
for an
that's
RMC
weird.
apparently.
I think that's a weird choice for both parks, really,
I
if you
think
think
it's a
about it.
really weird plot of land to the
Yeah.
Drachenfire spot. Larry, do you know where that is in BGW?
No.
Okay, so you didn't go to the lunch that we had, but like Fest House, you know how it like
Yes.
comes around the curve. If you go up the left side of Fest House, there's a haunt back there, and well, it's right now it's used for a haunt. Drakenfire used to be back there, like
Okay.
in the trees back there. Nobody's gonna know it's there unless they like tear open all the
Yeah.
trees right there because it's
Well,
Especially for
hidden.
a family coaster.
both of those parks already had B&M inverts. That's the
Yeah,
other thing. That's just
it's
a
Think of
little
the
definitely
weird.
an interesting
babies.
choice. Think of the babies. Well, the
Think of
weird
the
thing
babies.
is BGW has a lot of family slash
Yeah.
thrill rides. Where Bolton, um, Invader, Dark Coaster, they're all like right on that line. So you're just adding another one.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, they already had a pretty solid family lineup. But I think it's a weird choice also just because when you have a plot that's like kind of like hollowed ground to like park
Yeah,
like locals.
yeah, like
Yeah,
the Son
like
of Beast plot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or the vortex plot. Like
or the yeah
if they were to put like I don't know, like a
Snoopy
family
Soapbox
invert
Racers.
or
If they
yeah,
were to put
that
Snoopy
there,
Soapbox Racers there, yeah.
it'd be super weird.
I agree. The weirdest thing, though, about it, in my opinion, why I say it's a weird plot, besides it's off the beaten path, is you're using, kind of like Banshee, you're only using like 30 to 40% of that space, even if you
Yeah.
make a new plaza. There's so much space back there. And there's been rumors of a RMC Wild or RMC Hybrid back there, a hyper hybrid, for so long, and
Oh man.
there was rumors of an Intamin multi-launch back there before Pantheon happened. It was originally allegedly supposed to be on that side and the river, and it was going to go over the river. So people thought maybe they were going to build an Intamin Giga back there at one point.
An RMC hybrid would be amazing at BGW.
through the woods. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yes.
I agree. I've heard the main discussion I've heard about um, the family invert is, are they gonna theme it to something similar to Big Bad Wolf? That's kind of how you take the sting off
Yeah.
for with the hollowed
Yeah.
ground is,
Yes.
theme it to Big Bad Wolf, make it similar so you can kind of
Yeah. It'd be cool if they just called it Big Bad Wolf. Screw it. That's all you got to do.
call it Three
They
Little
could have named
Piggies.
it Steel Wolf because that's how we like to name things.
Iron Wolf.
um okay, let's power through the rest of the stuff here. So we got 2024 plans.
Wait, we missed Dorney. We love Dorney and we
No, we
skipped
didn't. I
them.
already talked about it.
Did you? Oh, I must have been zoned out. Never mind.
Wow.
Sorry.
2024
Sorry.
plans. Taylor, what do you got?
I'm gonna go to Josh's wedding and I'm gonna figure out how to cram a
Woo!
coaster trip into that, and then
Well, Canada's Wonderland. We already talked about that.
yes, I just gotta figure out because my friend's having her birthday for her child
I
either
know.
that weekend or the weekend after, so I don't know.
You just push for the weekend after and tell her it's because you have the wedding.
She listens to this podcast. Um so then I don't know. I'm gonna go to Kings Island. Like I don't do that all the time anyway.
Your first
Your
time
point.
at Kings Island. Good for you.
Yay! Woo! And then at some point, I'm probably gonna go to Virginia. Whether that's
Darien
for
Lake.
Coaster
If we could
Darien
all
Lake,
do that, that would
obviously.
be awesome. I mean, isn't Darien Lake kind of like a layup, like after or is it not open?
Won't be
It's
open
not
until
open.
Memorial Day, probably.
Oh,
Gosh, you should
that
just move your
sucks.
wedding back a month.
Yeah, why
God.
didn't
Yeah,
she
that's
think
that.
about
I
that?
definitely haven't paid. I actually just ordered our
No.
cake and desserts today.
So no matter
Huh?
what, the cake's not going to taste good, Josh. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Why?
Because does it have fondant?
No,
Oh well, ours was like a traditional wedding cake. It didn't taste
no.
very good. Yeah,
We
it had
got
those like pearl things on it. That like if
I
you
love
uh
fondant.
uh
oh I is
cake
that how
Play-Doh.
it's
Anyway,
pronounced?
um,
As far
it's
as I know,
fondant
I
or
don't know.
fondant. I've heard both.
Oh okay, I wasn't sure if I was saying it wrong.
That reminds me of a joke in Community that is not appropriate for this.
Well, let's not talk about that though.
Um, but
I still haven't watched
we,
it.
You
I
need to
know.
watch the Community. What the
Okay.
heck?
Okay, we are going on a
2024
side
plans.
tangent. Let me
Sorry.
talk about my wedding cake. We
How-
are we're having a cutting cake, and then we're having two sheet cakes by a real bakery, not like a Costco cake. One of them is going to be chocolate marble. The other is going to be funfetti.
Ooh,
Oh,
And then there's going to be
delicious.
mini eclairs.
funfetti.
Yes, and
Ooh.
then mini eclairs.
That sounds good.
Yeah. What else? Is that all you got, Taylor?
I feel like I had another plan. Obviously, gonna head out to Dorney at some point. Probably more than
Dorney
likely. I have
Hershey
a
Great
Hershey
Adventure.
pass. I have to go out there.
I gotta
You
go
have
to
a
Dorney.
pass?
You have a
It made
Hershey
more sense
pass?
than paying for. It made more sense than paying for parking when I went out
Because you
Are,
went
are
twice,
you
the
didn't you?
last
renewing your
time.
pass though?
What?
Are you renewing your pass though for next year?
This year? I
This
got it
yes.
for the end of last year and then to roll into this year.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I got you.
So I have to go at least like
I would
one or
get a
two times.
Hershey. I would be tempted to get one, aside from the fact that I really dislike that drive a lot.
They
I
just
don't
rolled
mind the
out
drive.
another news thing we didn't talk about. They rolled out a top tier pass similar to like Prestige Plus. They rolled out like um, something above king size.
I love
I
that
forget
that's
what
the
it
way they
is.
do it.
I
My
forget
pass
as
is the
well.
king size because I wanted the
I
free drinks.
I had king size. Kyla had the medium tier full size. I don't know. But anyways, Larry, do you have any 2024 plans?
I mean, hang out with you guys in Buffalo. Hopefully
Woo!
hit Dorney. Definitely wanted to do Virginia. And then, of course, Topsail too. So I want to spend more time at Cedar Point this year.
Are you going to try to hit Canada's Wonderland the day after my wedding?
I
A
would
group
like
of
to
us
do
are going to
that.
try
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah, that would be fun. Giant
Giant size,
size.
yes. It's only available for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's
It's
Um,
$420.
nice.
what does it come with? Because if it's just like, oh, there's a place you can sit that other people can't
Free
sit.
free daily single-use fast track, three free Hershey Park tickets, access to new exclusive lounge, plus the
Yeah.
king size perks, which are
Yeah. No.
the drink plan and appreciation gift bag.
Nah.
The single for locals, the single use fast lane would probably be good because that park gets crazy on Saturdays.
Yeah.
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 But besides that, yeah, it's a Prestige Plus pass, but for
Yeah.
Hershey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying $420 for a Hershey pass is weird to me because it's the only park in its chain. Whereas my $400 Cedar Fair pass gets me access to every park
Yeah.
plus the
Yeah. It
perks
makes it a lot easier
Yeah.
to
to
swallow.
swallow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, if you live in or near Hershey, I would probably be there every
Oh,
weekend.
absolutely. I would have a
Yeah.
season pass for sure. Yeah.
My
And I live
2024
6 hours away
plans.
and I have one.
Yeah.
I live 5 hours door to door, basically. I've considered day tripping it, but it's just too far.
Just too far.
I'll day trip Cedar Point 4 hours, but 5 is just too
I
much for
didn't
me.
like see Cedar Point's 3 hours. I didn't like day tripping it.
Well,
I'd
you're a
rather
grandpa.
stay. Now I'm not a grandpa, man.
I don't get me right. I don't get me wrong. I do like staying at Cedar Point, but like if I'm on a budget, I'll day trip it. Especially with
Yeah.
how cheap gas is in Ohio compared to New York. Like I'll just go out there and come back. It'll cost me like $45 round trip or whatever instead of paying 100 to 300 for a hotel.
Fair.
Yeah, it's just that drive home is just like, oh my god, come on. Like,
Oh, definitely,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
like how am
But
I
my
not home yet?
2024
Yeah.
plans. I'm getting married in May, so I probably won't go anywhere before that because I have once parks start opening, I have bar tastings and rehearsal dinners and meetings with the venue and all that kind of stuff all through April. So
Yeah.
I probably won't have a chance to do anything before that. May 5th, besides the preview day as we discussed, I'm gonna try and make it to that. May 5th, I'm gonna try to go to Canada's Wonderland. I know McLovin's gonna be there. I know Taylor and Larry want to try to be there. Cedar Kev will probably hang around if I had to guess. I'm inviting a bunch of enthusiasts to my wedding, so a lot of them are going to be in the area.
Yeah.
And then on my honeymoon, we're going to Orlando for a few days. I think we decided on doing SeaWorld Orlando and Busch Gardens Tampa since we have SeaWorld passes. Since we bought
Solid.
them for Busch Gardens Williamsburg for the Coaster Crew event. And then if we go to IAPA this year, we'll probably hit up Universal then. I think that's what we decided. And then
Nice.
we're sailing on the Carnival Mardi Gras after that. So I'm going to ride Bolt, the Ultimate Sea Coaster, which Coaster Studios is actually on the ship right now.
Oh,
So if you
nice.
don't know what Bolt the Sea Coaster is, I'm sure they'll have a video coming up soon about it. And then my honeymoon, I'll get back Memorial Day weekend. So I'll probably rest for a bit. I'm going to go to Cedar Point, of course. Kings Island, of course. I really want to go to Holiday World this year. I want to see if I can make it to Carowinds. I don't know if I will. Definitely going to do Dorney and Hershey and Great Adventure. Those three I go to I think I went to Hershey 6 times this year. I went to Dorney 3 times and Great Adventure twice. Those are like, and then obviously Darien Lake. That's my home park. I go there way more than it deserves, probably. But yeah, those are our 2024 plans. We have a few questions to close this out. I'm going to try to power through some of them because some of these are really old questions
Sure.
from before. So, starting off with 2 questions that are not old questions. What ERT events do you hope to attend in 2024? That's from McLovin.
Taylor, go.
Wait, ERT events?
Mhm.
I don't know. Whenever Kings Island does like either Coaster Crew or Great Ohio Coaster Club, I'll go to that. But otherwise, I don't really have any specific
That's
plans
not true.
because
That's not true. Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia, if I can make work. I think Dawson and I might go as our like own vacation in July, but I want to make because he had to like tell work when he's gonna have off. But any
Yeah.
other time, if I can make it out to Coaster Crew, I want to make it out to Coaster Crew for that.
That
I
was going to be
agree.
my answer. That's the
Yep.
main one for me this year.
Yeah. Coaster Crew. They always have a Hershey event. I'm pretty sure, so I'll probably be at
Oh
that one.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
Virginia is for coaster lovers. I
I
want to
would have
make it
said
too.
Coaster
Oh, I
Stop
do a Hershey
for
for
sure,
that.
but yeah.
Um,
Coaster Mania. Those tickets didn't go on sale, right?
no,
No, yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna make it to that one. That's like the week after my honeymoon.
I
Um,
might go to that.
or I might go only because I work from home on Fridays. So if I like go check in and then work from home until 5, I can still get night ERT. It wouldn't be that bad if I just work
Yeah.
from the hotel. We'll see. For me this year, Coaster Crew events. If I looking forward to 2025, Coaster Crew is going to Japan. I want to try to do that. Um,
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
yeah, it was just
The-
teased. By teased, I mean they posted hashtag 2025 with a picture of Tokyo or
I
of
didn't see the
somewhere.
hashtag on that.
I
Okay.
didn't at first either.
That might be I might have to set up a savings goal for that. I've
Yeah,
Yeah,
been
I was
wanting
that'd
to
be
go to
talking to
cool.
Japan for years
I
and
was
years.
talking to Kyla about it, and I was like, well, flights out of Toronto to Tokyo are cheaper than I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be like 2,000. They were only like 1,000. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, based on the Scandinavia event, which cost about 1,300 per person, I think. Don't quote me on that. That would be like with flights like 25, 26 a person, which isn't bad if you want to go to Tokyo.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, that's plenty of time to get ready.
Exactly.
So,
But yeah.
I have
Um,
a Hershey pass, and I didn't think about how I could go to a Hershey Coaster Crew event too.
yeah.
So that would be cool.
Uh, Cedar Kev, friend of the pod. What is going to be your first park visit of 2024? Actually, I'm going to take this one first. I will probably go to a pass holder preview day at either Canada's Wonderland or Dorney if I can make it happen. So probably one
Yeah,
of them.
most likely Kings Island for me.
yeah. Kings Island for pass
They
holder.
opened pretty early. Like
Yeah,
If I don't get to those, then it'll be definitely Canada's Wonderland with McLovin and whoever else shows up after my wedding.
Canada's
J-
Wonderland.
I'm really interested to share that park with you guys because I have such mixed feelings.
It's
JT,
one I definitely want to go to. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. JT, if you could have one park in your backyard, what would it be and why? I'm assuming we're getting free admission to this park just to take me off
Yeah.
if it's in my
Um,
backyard, I'd hope.
the hook.
shoot, I don't know. I don't know. That's a
I,
tough question.
I'm gonna say Kings Island because the layout would be really easy. Otherwise, I'd probably say Hershey because I like Hershey's coasters, but the hills, I don't really want those in my backyard.
All right, I'm gonna say
That's
Cedar
valid.
Point, and I want a boat. And
You want a
so
boat?
yes, and so I would make
You have
use
a
of the boat.
mile of backyard.
Yeah,
That's
a
funny.
boat and Cedar Point. That would be all I would need in life.
It's fair.
See, I'm gonna take this a totally opposite way of you guys, and I'm gonna go with Epcot because if it's in my backyard, eventually I'll get tired of the coasters. But Epcot has so much other stuff to do, like all the world showcase, all the foods,
Hmm.
like all that kind of stuff. Plus, it has Guardians, which is apparently amazing.
I
So I'm
I'm,
gonna
I
go with
might have
Epcot.
to eat my words at some point, but Epcot looks really boring to me. Now I've never been to
I,
Epcot.
Same.
I've been there once.
Yeah.
I was young and it was boring, but I think I'd enjoy it a lot more now.
Okay,
You can
and
go
then
drink around the world.
the stuff that people say about it, like, or the stuff that people seem to do there, like, none of it actually sells me on it. It looks like it's just people eating food and taking Instagram pictures and drinking.
People
Yeah.
either love or hate Epcot. There's not
Yeah.
like a Epcot crowd, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay to go to Disney and then pay to eat at Disney.
Well,
Right.
that's my rationale is if it's in my backyard, it's free,
Yeah.
probably
Fair.
including the food. So I picked a Disney park because they're expensive to get into and there's a lot of other stuff to do. Like
Okay.
you can always find
That's
something to do at a Disney
There's
park.
logic. There's logic.
Yes.
the logic.
Possibly Hollywood Studios. Either way, it's going to be a Disney park.
Fair. You might have me reconsidering.
Cedar Cuber says there's two questions here. One of them is old and one of them is new. So let's get the old one out of the way. How did you react when you first saw Top Thrill 2 was already testing? This was
I was
when
really
Top Thrill 2 was testing.
surprised. I was really
Yeah.
surprised. It seemed really early to me.
I wasn't that surprised. I mean, we knew they were already low speed testing the LSMs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like,
But I didn't even think they did testing. Like I thought that they waited until like March to do testing most of the time.
usually they would, but the
Yeah,
weather held out. So
yeah. So when they
Yeah.
were testing it already, I was like, dang. And then it also just, I think, emphasized like how quickly they got that project done.
I think for me, it more emphasized how much Cedar Point and Zamperla both know that like this project matters for their
Matters. Yeah,
reputation.
Yeah.
Like the
yeah,
reputations are literally on the line with this. Both Cedar Point for investing in Zamperla and Zamperla for obviously
right.
going from essentially nothing
And just
to
yeah,
420-foot launch coaster, third fastest coaster in the world. Like that's a huge jump.
yeah. And with it just being so visible and so many
Yeah,
people caring about it. Yeah.
yeah. And Dragster arguably being one of the most iconic coasters in the world
Yeah.
for most people. Um, that's the one that people will tell you. Like even one of my coworkers recently was like, "Have you ever been to Cedar Point?" I'm like, "Yeah, I go all the time." They're like, "Have you ever rode the one that goes right up really
Yeah.
fast and then come?"
Yeah.
Like that's what people they don't ask about Millennium Force. They don't ask about Steve. They ask if you've ridden
People
Dragster.
ask me about Millennium Force. Like, I keep hearing I've
Well,
got to ride this Millennium Force.
You're
nobody ever
more
asked me
local
about
than I am.
Steve.
Yeah, that's
Remember
true.
that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
People
But,
know, but people outside of that area, they know Dragster.
oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like people around here that like aren't coaster people but know about Cedar Point, they'll be like, that one I wouldn't get on that one. I would never get
Yes.
on that one.
Yes.
The Top Thrill 2 or Top Thrill Dragster. Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I feel like around here everybody's like dragster. And if they're not dragster, it's Millie. But
Yeah.
it's dragster.
Yeah, Steel Vengeance, you don't hear that from like the GP around here. Even though
No.
it always has like a huge line, people like it. But
It's
it's like
because it's
Millennium
not
Force
tall.
is like the beast of Cedar Point. It's like the one that everyone's always like, I love Millennium Force. You know
my
what I mean?
I think
my uncle told me that he used to love Dragster and then he got a rollback and he was afraid of it ever since. I don't have the heart to tell him what they're doing with Top Thrill 2.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a couple people.
Yeah, people really
Um,
don't like that idea.
I think the GP just like dragster and Millie because they're tall and they can say, "Oh, I rode a
yes,
coaster that's
it
300 feet." They don't
100%,
have that with Steve. They don't understand
100%.
why
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, I just rode an RMC hybrid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normal
Yeah.
people don't
I just
care.
wrote. Yeah, like my sister is not an enthusiast, but she respects my enthusiast knowledge. So
Mm.
when I was like essentially guiding her and her friends around Cedar Point, and I was like, okay, get there, meet me at the Magnum Gate at 10 o'clock. We are running back to Steel Vengeance, and we get in line, and she's like, "There's so many people here. Like, why is there so many people trying to get to this ride?" I go, "Oh, well, it's like the best in the world." And she's like, "According to you?" I'm like, no, according to almost
Yeah.
everyone. And it's not my number one, but like it's definitely in the conversation for best in the world for almost anyone you ask.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like that disconnect between this is the best in the world and this is a ride everybody wants to ride was like that was a real
Right.
moment for me.
Yeah.
Um, Cedar Cuber, aka Brendan, also wants to know what is our most anticipated coaster of this year for us, new coaster.
Top Thrill 2.
Top
I
thrill
would
too.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, it's Soapbox Racers.
I would
Good
put
Gravy, Phoenix Rising.
Iron Menace would be number 2 for me.
Yeah,
I
Iron
might get
Menace is
to
number
ride
2 for
Phoenix
me.
Rising now that I think about it. I agree with that.
I'm
Um,
excited to see Camp Snoopy, like for the
No, yeah,
park.
so I am too. I
No, just
love it
like the
whenever they
coaster
update
itself
it.
is
That area needed it so bad.
so bad.
Yeah.
Alex. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name, Alex.
It's
I
Execution
think it's
Man, isn't it?
execution.
Yeah.
Execution Man, aka Alex. Would you rather ride Vortex at Kings Island as a stand-up or Mantis at Cedar Point as a Woody, but still standing?
I don't want to do either of those things. I mean, we're talking about like the current layout, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vortex as a stand-up would not be comfortable at all. But
No.
neither would Mantis as a Woody.
I have an answer.
Which one?
What is
Mantis
it?
is a Woody.
I was
I
gonna say
think so
Mantis as
too,
a
but that's
Woody.
just because it's the lesser of two horrible, painful experiences, I think.
Well, it's so when you think of a Woody stand up, you're thinking it's going to be rough. I already associate Mantis with being rough.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's not going to be that noticeably different of an I mean, it'll feel different
Wooden
obviously.
corkscrew.
I'll have to agree with you, but I think it would be interesting to send someone else on a trip around Vortex's track on a stand-up train.
Yeah, for science.
Yes.
For science.
Mal asks 2024 coaster bucket list. I feel like we kind of already covered that with our
Yeah.
2024 plans.
But thank you for the
Yeah.
question, though.
But I'll say
Anything at
one.
Virginia.
I'll say one that I'm hoping to get on, but I can't guarantee is probably Fury.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'll have to say, what did I miss? Oh, you know what? It would be one of them for me would definitely be Storm Runner.
Which you should
Yeah.
have fit
Oh
on
yeah.
because we both got Walk of
Yeah.
Shamed, and I literally went back a week later and fit
Yeah.
just fine.
Well, hopefully it'll be a little easier.
You'll have
But
to
yep.
look. It's like how you got Walk of Shamed on Pantheon, and then when I was
Yeah.
like, no, yeah. So I just need to get you into Storm Runner. Is what it
Josh was just like, I care more than the ride up does.
Well, yeah. No, they like walked up to Larry and were like, sorry, you're
Yeah.
not good. I walked
No,
over and
it's
just
all
went,
right.
ugh,
And then
and he
after that,
verified.
after I figured it out, I was able to get on my own.
Yeah, it
But,
literally, yeah,
yeah.
you just had to like slide back a specific way.
I had my stupid fat wallet in my pocket too, and that made it like harder for me to get in the back of the seat. And every little inch counts.
Yes.
But yeah,
At Winterfest, I had a thick hoodie and a jacket on, and verifying on Mystic was noticeably harder than it
yeah.
would normally be. So yeah. Last question from the audience before we ask each other questions. Suburbia Gothic wants to know any historic bits of amusement parks you wish would come back.
I've got an answer for that one.
Go for it.
For me, it would be Hanna-Barbera back
Yes.
at Kings Island. I'm it makes me so sad that it's not there anymore.
I want it.
I don't know if this counts as historic, but I know Larry's going to agree with me on this one. Trees.
Trees.
Yes.
That's a
I want
fantastic answer.
International Street pedestals back.
Yeah. I that was it looks nice and clean, but it is missing something, especially if you go back and look at the fountain doesn't look as powerful anymore. Because the fountains are all at the same level instead of like some of them being like higher.
Yeah. It still looks beautiful. Love it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's back. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna close this podcast down the same way we always do, which is asking each other questions. Larry, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is the best item of food you have ever had at a theme park or amusement park?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm the person to ask about that. Let's see. The best food I've ever had at a theme park. I don't really know. I haven't really had blue ice cream. I'll go with that.
Hot take, it's trash.
Yeah.
No,
wait,
it's not.
It's not
what?
trash. It's just not good.
It is
I don't
good.
really like blue
it's
ice
very
cream.
good. Taylor.
It's
Jesus
blue.
Christ.
Taylor, question for you.
Yes.
If you could travel to any country in the world, but you could only ride 3 roller coasters in that country, which country would you be in? Which 3 coasters would you pick?
Ooh, that was such a good
I
question.
was gonna go to Japan anyway because I just really want to go to Japan because I want to go to the Ghibli Museum. And then I'm gonna ride.
So you want McLovin's honeymoon?
I want McLovin's honeymoon. Let's yeah, that's it.
3 coasters.
I don't know any besides what is it? Steel Dragon 2000.
That is
the
in
really
Japan.
Weird Morgan with B&M trains
with 2 chains to get up the lift hill. Yeah.
Yeah. The other 2, I don't know. I'll just ride whatever else
you
is
like
there.
RMC hybrids?
Ooh, are you gonna say what is that called?
Hakuge.
Hakuge, yes.
Yes, that one would
be.
I'll go ride that.
Oh, yep. That's the other one. That's got to be the other one.
Ajaneka.
Yep.
I don't think I'm taking Steel Dragon though.
No, I'm not taking Steel Dragon either.
I'm taking Dododompa if it's open.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Kakuge is gorgeous. Gorgeous RMC hybrid.
Possibly the most beautiful coaster ever.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to ask me a question, then we can close this baby down.
Taylor, take it away.
Josh, if you could assign the Hunger Games any coaster, what would your coaster be?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
If you could assign the Hunger Games as a franchise to a coaster.
I don't have to do this. There's already a Hunger Games land in a park in Europe, and it has a coaster.
Okay, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
So you're saying what type of coaster, if I was to get the IP for Hunger Games, would I build?
No, which coaster would you retheme to the Hunger Games, right?
Oh, okay.
Just like what has the vibe? What has the vibe? What has Hunger Games energy?
The first thing that came to mind was the Dark Knight Wild Mouses at Great America.
Oh my God.
Adventure. I don't know why.
I love that
that's my answer.
Batman Wild Mice.
They're actually not bad. They're quite good.
It's still funny. It's not what you would think of as a Batman coaster.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Quad Down Pod. If you're listening on audio, again, consider checking out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@QuadDownPod. I'm Josh, my co-host Larry and Taylor. This is
Orion's Giga.
Orion's a Giga.
Orion's Giga. Have a great day, guys.